my name's Megan. I'm a homeschool mom of 2, and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to update y'all on how our homeschool functioned for the month of November. Now, I know that this is a little bit early, but we are rolling up on Thanksgiving, and my husband has the entire week off of work, so hoo-doo-hoo. And if I had to suspect, I would say that our homeschool is probably going to go a little off the rails this week. So I figured that I would just wrap it up early and share with you guys what worked and what didn't. Okay, before we really get into what worked and what didn't, I just want to share my overall general view and feelings about how November went. And I've got to tell you, I am like so relieved because we took a really big break in October, and me and my husband went on our own little mini vacay. And to be quite honest, transitions are something that we are working on as a family. So I was really worried that we were going to be kind of struggling all month to really get back down to business. But I am happy to report that we were homeschool machines this month. I love making these videos, these update videos for my own posterity. So it's like, listen up, future Megan, who I'm sure will review this video next year in the month of November. Please remember that once it's not so beautiful outside, the academics get better, right? It's like when that cold weather comes, we're really ready to buckle down and get to business. So just don't stress those first few months, August, September, October, when it's so gorgeous outside. Of course, everybody wants to be outdoors, but once that cold weather hits, baby, we're ready to put pencil to paper and get down to business. Okay, now that I've had my little aside with my future self, let's get into what worked for us for the month of November in our homeschool. And the first thing that I really want to call out as our biggest victory that absolutely worked for us was our Zoom reading lessons that we've been doing every Monday and Wednesday with my mother-in-law. Whoop, whoop. So my mother-in-law, her entire career, she was a reading specialist teaching elementary students how to read. And now that she is retired, we have been harnessing that expertise in our own homeschool, and we've been doing some Zoom lessons, and they're going chef's kiss beautifully. So we really started with looking at our vowel sounds, like we've done long A, long E, long I, and putting in those high frequency words like into a flashcard sort of system. But what's been really genius has been our rhyming journal. And I know that I've shown you guys this a few times, but it's going so well, so I would just flip through it again. So for example, when we go over, let's say, long A words, then we go into our rhyming journal and make pages like 8, rhymes with late, date, hate, right? And we go in and write sentences as well as illustrations for each of those words. And I've got to tell you, one of the kind of unintended bonuses of this whole thing has been not only like the reading element or even the spelling element, but it's actually been the writing component. Really asking Winnie to kind of construct a complete thought that we can put as a sentence has been huge. And when we first started, her sentences were bizarre, not making sense, not complete thoughts. And we've really worked on taking her voice, right? I'm not trying to change her perspective or her unique way of constructing her thoughts, but really teaching her what a sentence structure looks like, what that complete thought is. And she's not really picking up that that's what we're doing, that that's part of the lesson. To her, it's just fun because then she gets to put in some illustrations that she thinks is a really enjoyable thing to do. So our reading lessons with Grandma has probably been our biggest victory for the month of November. All right, the second thing that went really well for us this month has been planning. So October, I really was getting very loosey-goosey with our plans. We took that big break, etc., etc. But I wasn't sitting down in my planner and putting in what I thought we would do each day. Now listen, it is a rare, rare day that we would actually accomplish everything that I would put into a planner for us to do. That's not really how we homeschool. We're not, tracking our curriculum or having these weekly goals. But apparently, if I have a plan, even if we don't stick to it, our days go better. So of course, I'm still in love with and using my homeschool planner from Schoolnest. This is from Megan. What's up, lady? I will link this below. Of course, I have my obnoxiously large coil. You'll have to get one of those on your own. But anyways, using my planner and having a plan, whether or not we follow through with it, has been huge for the success of our homeschool machine this month. In the same vein of saying that planning went really well for us, I actually want to talk about a new app that we've been using. This app's been out for a while. It's just new to us, and that is the app SeeSaw. If you have never used this app before, it's pretty cool, you guys. First of all, I do have to say that I got the idea to use the app from the Homeschool Sisters podcast from Kate and Cara. If you have never checked them out, follow the link below. Of course, they are hilarious, and I feel really pragmatic about the advice that they give for homeschool. Anyways, using the SeeSaw app has actually been the way that I'm doing backwards planning for our homeschool. So I'm using my Schoolnest planner for kind of laying out the roadmap of what I want us to accomplish that week. But then I'm using SeeSaw to backwards plan and kind of journal everything that we actually did do. And it's so easy because I'll just keep my phone with me throughout the homeschool day and take pictures of my kiddos as they're doing their activities or even things that we didn't plan. And then in the evenings, following the suggestion of the Homeschool Sisters podcast, I have an alarm set and I will just go in and upload those photos to SeeSaw. You can tag your students in them. So I have one for Miss PJ and one for Miss Winnie Mae. And it automatically sorts those photos or videos to a calendar. So you can go back and see exactly what you did. And the interface is a lot like a social media interfacing. And what I really like about it, and one of the major reasons that I was encouraged to start using it, was because I can share that with grandparents or family members or my husband, and they can see what we're doing every day. And it's not information or images that I just have to put out for the entire world to consume. This isn't an Instagram or a Facebook or anything like that. It is definitely an interface where grandparents, myself, other family members can enjoy the educational experience of my kiddos, without just like putting myself on Front Street for every single thing that we do. It's been really fun, and it's been a really cool way to look back at everything we're actually accomplishing in a day. Even if it doesn't feel like we're really doing that much, I'm like, oh yeah, we're getting a lot done. And it's been really encouraging me to kind of document our experience as homeschoolers. And I was even thinking I could, turn these images into a photo album that I have printed at the end of the year or something like that. I don't know, just trying to think ahead. So check out SeeSaw. Of course, that's linked below. And check out the Homeschool Sisters podcast, because I know there are probably so many of you that are like, yeah, hello, I've been listening to them forever. Where have you been? I didn't know. Okay, I didn't know. And I can't speak to their secular or non-secular status. I don't know. If it's been brought up, religious curriculum, I haven't paid attention. It has not offended me in any such way. It wouldn't anyways. But I have really enjoyed their dynamic, their resources that they have, and just the pragmatic way that they discuss homeschool. So check them out. All right, the next thing that has worked phenomenally for us in the month of November has been, go figure, exercise. And I'm not talking about exercise for myself, like maybe I should add that to my to-do list, but I'm talking about exercise for my eldest, who is 7. She definitely has a ton of energy. I mean, a little wiggle pants, wants to move, wants to be a horse or a cat all the time. She has so much energy. So every morning she's been going for a run with her dad and our dog, and it has made a massive difference. She's an early riser, you guys. She's up by 6:30 every day. So I thought, you know what, instead of having her sit around doing whatever, which she still gets a lot of that whatever time, she needs to, let's teach this child how to take this massive amount of energy she has and just like channel it into, I don't want to say something productive, but in a way that will benefit her in the future, being able to harness that energy source. So after she goes with a run with her dad, she comes inside, and while I make breakfast, she's been doing an Cosmic Kids yoga, like maybe half of an episode or video or a full episode. And if you've never checked out Cosmic Kids yoga, oh my gosh, you have to. It is one of our favorite YouTube channels, and it really is yoga for kiddos, and it usually presents itself in a way that has like a pop culture narrative that really gets them plugged in. So like we love Frozen, Cosmic Kids yoga, or My Little Pony, or Minecraft, and all of the poses are really cute. It's taken at a pace for kiddos, and the host is just delightful. So we love, love, love Cosmic Kids yoga. So check that out in the links below, of course, y'all. And it has just brought a new focus to her when it comes time for us to do school after breakfast. I'm just telling you, much less resistance, much less complaint, and on her part, a lot more enjoyment of the work she's doing, because I feel like we're getting that extra energy kind of drained off, and it's almost like her mind can then focus on the task at hand and just enjoy it so much more. Hey, so who knew, right? There's like a hot tip for you: free exercise. So if you watched last month's update video, then you'll know that science is something that's been a little bit of a struggle for us. We are trying to find a program or system that's going to just kind of light a fire for us. And you guys are phenomenal, because I got an amazing list of recommendations that I'm definitely going to be taking kind of this winter break to digest and research and go through before I really jump onto curriculum. And I will definitely share with you guys what we end up going with. But kind of in that intermediate time of transition, we have been going back to our Zoey and Sassafras books, and these are by Asia Citro. If you have never checked these out, oh, it is a must. Zoey and Sassafras is an absolutely precious series. We just finished number 4 this week, Caterflies and Ice. So this follows the journey of a little girl and her cat as they help magical creatures, and it explores scientific concepts through literature. The illustrations are really great. Let me show you an example. They're relatively short, but there is also just a tremendous amount of online resources built around these books. So I linked down below, to Asia Citro's website for Zoey and Sassafras. That includes all of the books, where to buy them, but then also links to all of the free printable material. So we printed coloring sheets to color while we were doing our read alouds, and then something we're going to finish this week is I printed up, like, this is a Zoey and Sassafras book study, and we're just going to really briefly look at some character descriptions on the different main characters. And then I also printed for us this experiment, melting ice experiment journal, and we'll do that as well. I can't imagine either of these taking us more than Monday and Tuesday to complete, but I think it's just a really great way for us to keep science in our conversations, to keep that kind of brewing while mom is doing her due diligence and finding us a curriculum that's really going to work for us. Again, shout out to all of y'all who left me the best suggestions for science curriculum. I can't wait. And that's honest. I'm kind of getting excited myself. So the final thing I want to mention is something that was super successful for us in the month of November was our Thanksgiving unit study. And I did a whole video on this. I will link that down below. So if you think this is an attractive face but would look better with like a really large mustache on it, then that might be the video for you, my friend. Again, linked down below. Anyways, the only thing that we have left for our Thanksgiving unit study is we are finishing up History Smashers the Mayflower, and this is by Kate Messner. I really enjoyed this book, even as just a history buff myself. It was a really quick way to digest a ton of information leading into who the Pilgrims were, and then of course a conversation about the Feast of 1621. I have truly enjoyed this book, and it's also a great way to introduce a lot of different types of reading material because it includes some what am I trying to say here? It includes some graphic novel work, some original documents, and then of course just a nonfiction narrative. So we have loved this book. I'm thinking about looking into the History Smashers for future subjects, and we will finish this one before Thanksgiving. And I'm really excited for how that unit has gone because, to be honest, we covered some pretty heavy topics, but I feel like it has just brought on the best conversations, even with my 7-year-old. I try really hard to not underestimate what she's capable of because yes, this child wants to run around like a horse on the ground and play make-believe all day long, but she is still so capable of opening her heart and mind to some pretty deep topics of conversation. And it has been a beautiful thing to make that a family discussion for us. So I was concerned with how like a family unit study would go, and it's gone really well. A much slower pace than our other unit studies because we are having to wait for all the stars to align, for every member of our family to be ready and present to have these conversations. All right, let's really get into what didn't work. Like, wah, wah. There's actually not much to report on the what didn't work front. So I have already mentioned science, that I feel like we're still trying to find our way on that one, but I am really excited and trying to make a decision pretty quickly on what we're going to do because there are just a ton of homeschool resources out there that are having massive sales because of Black Friday and leading into the holiday season. So we're definitely going to make our mind up and make that purchase while all of those sales are going on. And I want to just give a shout out to the Homeschool Sweetspot, and I'm going to link her YouTube channel down below because she had this Instagram reel about like, hey, you looking to make some curriculum choices? Well, don't hold off because all the sales are coming. And I have been viewing that reel like every day, reminding myself like, you don't have to have this curriculum right now. You can wait until it's on sale because you won't even be using it for a few more weeks. Does anybody else get that like curriculum just anxiety of like, oh my goodness, I saw this curriculum and now I have to have it. Oh, panic mode. And I think it's part of becoming a seasoned homeschooler is letting go of a little bit of that panic. And to be honest, like I'm enjoying that part of becoming a more adapted homeschooler. I don't know, like I'm like a fine wine, getting better with age, and I'm kind of letting go of a little bit of those anxieties and honestly compulsions. So with that kind of science is also coming our math. I bought a really great math program. I need to dive a little bit more into it before we get going on it. And we've kind of been, you know, scooting around it. But my daughter is really great at math. She's just whizzes through anything that I give her while I'm just getting organized on what I'm going to do with math. And is that like a hesitancy or a math phobia for me? Like, no, it's just we have had a really successful November that just hasn't included kind of going down that path. And I'm trying to get better at really recognizing that we're the kind of homeschoolers that we get really invested in something and we can just make leaps and bounds, just a tremendous amount of progress in a really short period. And so I'm just having faith in the fact that that interest for math is going to come back around, and when it does, we're just going to like jump through our curriculum. And so hopefully as we kind of wrap up the holidays, we're going to turn towards a more organized approach to our math and our science. Okay, and the final thing that I want to mention is something that didn't work for us this month is actually the Dart program from Brave Writer. And this is nothing to do with the program itself. I am still like, all on board, baby. The thing that really didn't work for us is we've just had so much like reading out loud reading materials surrounding the holiday that our book has taken kind of a back seat to that. And we've been reading Peacemaker by Joseph Bruchac, and we really are enjoying this story. I just don't think that we're going to finish it in our typical 3 to 4 week pacing. That's usually when we're finishing read alouds. And I think we're probably going to finish this one up by the beginning of December. And then we're going to hit pause on our Dart reading program until January. And that's just because I have a lot of things brewing for December that are seasonally specific. So I don't want to really have to be compromising how we're approaching the Dart program to accommodate for all of those other really awesome kind of Christmassy, good feeling read alouds that we're going to be tackling for the month of December. So we're just putting a pin in it until January. All right, you guys, that's really all I have for you today. I really hope that you enjoyed this update. I'm hoping that you had a wonderful, wonderful November. Share with me down below what worked for you, what didn't, you know what I'm saying? And go check out all of the resources that I mentioned. Of course, I have all of that listed for you guys. I hope you found something here today to help you, right? And you know what I'm gonna say? Is it perfect? No, baby, and it was never gonna be. But is it done for November? Yeah, it is. So until next time, bye.